Hello, my crafty friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Again, it's great to see you. This week on the blog, we're going to make this beautiful Thanksgiving centerpiece. You can make it with silk flowers, real flowers, paper flowers like I have. We've included our artichokes that we made last week, and we're going to make a stunner. I'm going to show you all the tips, tricks, and techniques that you'll need to create a beautiful centerpiece like this for your table. So let's get started. I'm going to walk you through it all the way. So thanks so much for joining me. Let's make a beautiful centerpiece. Hello, my crafty friends. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm so glad you're here. As always, we're going to just keep on decorating for Handcrafted Holiday 2019. So today we're going to make our centerpiece for our Thanksgiving table. So I'm going to show you how to put together a centerpiece. Whether you're doing it out of paper flowers like I'm going to do or fresh cut flowers, the process is going to be pretty much the same. So the first thing I did is I have my vessel, and this was a clear glass vessel vase that I purchased at Home Goods, and I glittered it and added some nice bling to it because I thought it was a little too pale for our Thanksgiving table. And so I did that to it, and I've actually put in some floral foam. I don't really like using floral foam, but in this particular case, I think that's what we have to use. And I secured it to the bottom of my vessel with double stick tape. So I'm going to add in some filler as well, just because I don't want to see that floral foam. You could use moss as well. I think this is pretty. And if you're using fresh cut flowers, you may want to create a grid on there, but I don't think we're going to need a grid on here today because we have the floral foam in there. If you're doing fresh cut flowers, make sure that you use Oasis. If you're going to use floral foam, use Oasis and make sure it's good and wet. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set the height and the width of our centerpiece. And that's the first thing we want to do is get the shape. And because it's going to be down the center of the table, I want it to be short and long and narrow. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my height with those artichokes that we made in class. And you know, that might even be a little higher than I want it to be. So I'm going to use my handy dandy cutters and cut about an inch or so off of there. And there we go. And take that down. Now, these are the other two that I made. So put the green one that we made in the center, and I'm going to put these on either side. And I'm going to bend them because I want to give this, this arrangement some shape. And I may cut these down, but no, maybe not. So you can see I've got, and we're going to keep with this linear view here, and I'm going to keep turning this around. A Lazy Susan is really good if you have one, pardon the pun, but I think that's going to work. It looks kind of stark at the moment, but we'll just keep going. The next thing we want to do is add in some of our greens, and since we have a black and white theme, I have some black and white greens that I made, in black and white, and I'm going to just kind of bring this in just to create some shape here too. And because I want it to be narrow, I'm going to, let me turn that for you, because I want this to be narrow, I'm going to keep this going narrow. And I'm going to make this one pretty symmetrical. And you can see I'm getting my shape going here. And then I've got a couple of black ones. I'm going to do the same thing with the black. One on each side. Again, keeping it narrow. And you would just do this with your greens just to keep your, set your parameters for your shape to start with. And those little jobs love to jump out of there. Okay, and we want... Okay, so we've got a shape going there. So let's start adding in a couple of blooms. And what I have for blooms are paper flowers that I made. If you're using fresh cut flowers, just have a nice array of them. I have way too many here. I'm not going to need all of these. And, I might actually be able to make another centerpiece or another piece and put it near my front door as a welcome when my guests arrive. I think that would be pretty. So I'm going to start with, so what I've got is, we've got our black and white and our red theme. So we want an orange. So we want to keep our red and orange kind of theme going. So I've made some ranunculus in purple and reds and oranges. And I said we were going to accent with purple. So I got some purples and a couple of yellows in there. So the first thing we're going to do is just start adding in some of our blooms. And again, I want this to be, oh, this little joggers like to, little babies like to jump around. I want to remember, I want to keep it low. I don't want to go any higher than that. So I want to keep this low. And I'm just going to add in a few flowers here and there. And like I said, mine are paper. Yours can be anything you want. So let's look at this one. And again, be mindful that I don't want to be taller than that. This one actually needs to come down a little bit. There we go. And let's add in a couple of reds. We'll do those on this side. And the idea when you're making centerpieces, and a lot of people are intimidated by flower arranging, and is there a formula? No, there's not. And I just do it by what I like. And so I'm going to start building in. I'm also going to come down a little bit. So I'm going to add in some of our cute anemones. And these anemones have leaves on them. So I'm going to bring those in down below here. And bring in our purple. And again, focusing on the fact that I want to stay low and long. So the biggest thing when it comes to making a flower arrangement is to be conscious of the shape that you want. Okay, these love to jump out. These stick to your fingers. So I'm going to add in a few more of these red, a few more of these reds, and I'm just going to start filling it in. Put one there. Flip around, and you're going to want, like I said, a lazy Susan would be a good idea. But you want to just keep turning it because you want to look at it from every angle. Keeping it low. Because you want your guests to be able to converse across the table. Some people will put their centerpiece on the table and then take it off as their guests sit down, which, you know, is always an option. Okay, so I've got a few more pretty greens here. I'm going to add in some color. I'm going to put in a blue here. Grab another one. Another one like that, I do. And you'll need some cutters to cut your greens and your stems to the length that you want them to be. And I'm going to take a couple of these red ones, cut them pretty short, and I'm going to put one on each side. You can see here, I'm staying in. Another one. And then I'm going to add in some of these purples. These are just rich, vibrant fall colors. I love these colors together. Aren't they just gorgeous? And just work your way around the arrangement. You can see it's coming together already. Let's add in some more of our greens. And I've got them in all different colors, so I really like this color. So you're going to fill in as you go around. Again, I want to keep it lower. Oops. Come back around here. There, keep it low. You really want that artichoke to be your center, highest point. So you can see it's coming together already. Doesn't it look pretty already? So then, you know, just keep adding in some flowers. I'm going to add in some of this yellow for a little bit of a pop of bright colors. I may need to cut this stem down a little bit. Yeah, I do. One in there. Around the other side. Doesn't that look pretty with the yellow in it? Well, I'm going to bring that down a little too. There we go. And see, we're still staying really narrow here, okay? So we want to kind of fill in here a little. So I'm going to grab a couple more of these oranges. Bring one in over here. Those suckers stick to my fingers. Same thing on the other side. You know, just might. I didn't think I'd use all these flowers, but I just might. So you're always going to need more than you think, especially with the greens. You're going to need more than you think. Okay, so you can see I have a gap here. Not so much on this side. I'm not sure why. This needs to come down more. And this needs to come down more. There we go. Okay, so let's take one of these anemones. And it's okay if you have light colors next to light colors. There's no rule. There's no rules. Really, there's no rules. I thought I had another one that was that color, but I don't. So I'll take another one of the small ones. I'll put this one right in here. Okay, now we need to bring in some more greens. And I'm just going to go through these and start adding them. More filler.
sweep up those. Okay, so I need, it's a pretty blue here. There's nothing like a nice surprise or pop of color. And one in here. Did not want to. Let's see here. I want to take, nope. Let's take these big ones. Oh, got that there. Okay, I've got more red. I'm going to add more red in. I want to bring this fill in. You can see in here I have a big gap. Another one here. And red is our main focus, so it's okay to have lots and lots of red in here. And I think we're like almost there. I think I'll fill in something here, just arbitrarily. I'll move. This one down in here. Oh, it's still too long. This would be really pretty. You could do this in silk flowers too. So let's just add in a few more sprigs of green here and there. Too long. Gotta get my fingers in there. And we haven't added in our copper accent pieces yet. I made those. I cut them out with my Cricut. You cut them out by hand. They're just little feathers. Oh, come on. It tells you when it's not the right fit. So, like I said earlier, I think, you know, a lot of people are intimidated by flower arranging. And, you know, practice makes perfect, like anything, any skill. Just practice, practice, practice. And I just have some odds and ends here of green, so I'm going to add them in. I need to cut this down quite a bit. Just to come down here. One here. This one's a little smaller than the one on the other side, so I think I'll be adding two. And all we're doing now is just kind of filling in the blanks. Here's another piece. This one that pretty? It's really, I'm really pleased with this. I have two more of these. I'm going to add one of them in here. And I'll add this one here. This is where we're going off symmetrical. And if you're buying blooms in the market, you're not going to be going symmetrical anyway. So it's okay. I think we're almost done. I have just a couple flowers left, so let's put them in there. Let me put one here. Get in there. I'm going to take that down just a little. Here. So I think, by Jove, I think we've got it. So we've got these little copper accents that I want to add. And I always like adding a little metallic. We added some with the artichokes. And I'm just going to stick these in just so they, let's see, add a little metallic accent. It's right there. Another one here. I thought I had a few more. Curl it down. And the hard part with this is knowing when to say enough is enough. And I'm never an enough is enough kind of girl. More is always more to me. For better or worse. Let's see, where did I put that? I put that over there. I'm going to put it over here. Right in through there. There. I got two more. Add, turn it down. Add one right in through. That little, like a hair too long, like an inch. This one. Another one. That one's long. This one's going to be long too. Get in there, get that down. Okay, so I do have some greens left. I'm just going to go ahead and intersperse them. Throughout the arrangement. Another white one. It's going to look gorgeous on the table. Like I said, if it ends up being too big on the table when you sit down, so just pick it up and sit it on your sideboard. Put this down just a little more. And we have one flower left. There you have it. Is that just gorgeous? And again, it's narrow, so it'll fit in the table. We've got some nice metallic accents to it. It's low enough. I'm gonna want to I always come back in and just add, you know, I just can't stop fiddling with things sometimes. There we go. And I think we have our beautiful Thanksgiving centerpiece. Isn't it gorgeous? You can do this at home. Just remember, set your shape, and mine's long and narrow. It's a little taller than I would like, but I think it's gorgeous. So long and narrow, and make sure you keep it narrow, otherwise it's just gonna take up way too much space on your table. But I think that this is gonna make an absolutely gorgeous centerpiece for our Thanksgiving table. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you had fun with this. Like I said, you can do this. And if you need help along the way, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always here to give you a hand. And once again, from my home to your home, happy holidays.
Hello once again. So I want to just follow up with you on this beautiful centerpiece. Wasn't it easy to make? And you can make one too. I hope that you share yours on Instagram and Facebook using the hashtag crafting with Susan B. And don't forget to tag me at Susan Bond Designs. And while you're at it, I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So once again, thanks so much for joining me. You can do this, and we'll do it together. And as always, from my home to your home, happy holidays.